Larry, was the president premature in announcing a phase one deal with China, and how close are you to making sure that that phase one is completely finished?
Well, no, he wasn't premature. It was his judgment after listening to his advisors, all of us, and the results of the meetings on Thursday and Friday, which I dare say were a bit more positive than Ambassador Mnuchin and Ambassador Lighthizer and Secretary Mnuchin might have thought. And President decided to think of this in segments rather than all at once.
Do you have any sort of guarantee that they will in fact follow through on the 40 to 50 billion figure that we've discussed?
It's serious. There's a lot of goodwill and cooperation. The official organs of the two governments are signing on, to it. I do not want to predict the precise outcomes of each section. Perhaps it can get done when the leaders meet in Santiago, Chile in a month, or not. And then whatever isn't done slips into phase two, and the talks go on. So the president has chosen a somewhat different approach. And as you know, he suspended the one part of the tariffs. So that's a lot of progress. I get it. You ought to be cynical, skeptical. I understand it. I was on your side of the street for a long time. But sometimes you can overthink this stuff. So they're out there doing what they're trying to do, and I would take it very seriously.
Phase one deal, and speak a bit about the December tariffs, if there's any consensus on whether those should be removed.
If a Brexit deal can be reached, I think that would be a plus. As you know, President Trump has said he would be very interested in a trade deal with Britain, the United Kingdom, and so forth that comes out of that. And there are lots of other issues.
Any progress on actually removing tariffs? I know that there was a pause in the increase.
Yeah, I mean, we suspended one,
right,
and that's very much part of the conversation. I'm not going to make a forecast here. That's very much part of the conversation. I think a lot of people were happily surprised at how well those talks turned out Thursday and Friday. A team effort on both sides. I went to the dinner Thursday night. I went to the dinner, and this is very analytical and scientific, but I thought the vibe was good. The vibe was good, and sure enough, we were able to pull something out. But we'll see. Okay, we'll see. Let's see how that goes, and we'll just keep reporting back, and if I don't report back, you'll remind me, and it's a great pleasure, and we're all freezing, and I'm going to bring my top coat the next time around. You're very kind. Thank you very much. I got to go to the next event.
Real quick, could you maybe talk about the president's mental state, sir? We'll take some questions from some people who aren't.
One week ago, Turkish forces crossed into Syria. Earlier this week, President Trump took decisive action to call on Turkish forces to stand down, to end the violence, to agree to negotiations. And today, I'm proud to report, thanks to the strong leadership of President Donald Trump and the strong relationship between President Erdogan and Turkey and the United States of America, that today the United States and Turkey have agreed to a ceasefire in Syria. The Turkish side will pause Operation Peace Spring in order to allow for the withdrawal of YPG forces from the safe zone for 120 hours. All military operations under Operation Peace Spring will be paused, and Operation Peace Spring will be halted entirely on completion of the withdrawal.
Hey guys.
All right, y'all. First things first, we're going to announce today that we're going to do the 46th G7 Summit on June 10th through June 12th at the Trump National Doral facility in Miami, Florida. The focus of the event will be global growth and challenges to the global economy. Specifically, we're dealing with things like rejuvenating incentives for growth and prosperity, rolling back prosperity-killing regulations, ending trade barriers, and reopening energy markets. So taking a lot of what we have been doing here domestically with such success and trying to encourage the rest of the world to get on board. As we sit here and our economy does so well, you look all across the world right now, and the rest of the world is either at or near recession. And we really do think that we have hit on a formula that works not only here, but that would work overseas. We're going to take the G7 as the opportunity to try and convince other nations that they can have the same successes by following the same model. Far and away, the best physical facility. We started with a list of about a dozen just on paper. And we sent an advanced team out to actually visit 10 locations in several states. We visited California, Colorado, Florida, Hawaii, Michigan, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Utah. We got that list down to just under 10, and the advanced team went out to visit those. And from there, we got down to 4 finalists that our senior team went out to look at. They looked at, I think it was 1 in Hawaii, 2 in Utah, and then the Mar-a-Lago facility in Florida. And it became apparent at the end of that process that Doral was by far and away the best physical facility for this meeting. In fact, I was talking to one of the advanced teams when they came back, and I said, what was it like? And he said, Mick, you're not going to believe this, but it's almost like they built this facility to host this type of event. If any of you have been there, you know that there's separate buildings with their own rooms, separate and apart from each building, so that one country could have a building, another country could have another. You folks could have your building for the press, and obviously the common areas are going to be perfect for our needs down there. Again, anticipating your questions, how is this not an emoluments violation? How is the president going to profit from this? I think the president has pretty much made it very clear since he's got here that he doesn't profit from being here. He has no interest in profit from being here. It's one of the reasons that he's not taken a salary since he's been here. He's given that salary to charity. Will not be profiting here. We had talked about the possibility of whether or not the president could actually do it at no cost. They understand there's difficulties with doing it that way. But we also have difficulties, obviously, if they charge market rates. So they're doing this at cost. As a result, it's actually going to be dramatically cheaper for us to do it at Doral compared to the other final sites that we had. So we're looking forward to that meeting. Again, June 10th through 12th of next year for the 46th G7.
The G7 summit could be.
It's not the only place. It's the best place. Those are 2 different things.
You're getting separated, right?
All right, guys.
Okay, let's go back.
Thanks. All right, guys, seriously. Guys. Let's go.
Is there any agreement on a ceasefire?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for seeing me. Merhaba Sayın Cumhurbaşkanı, nasılsınız? Çok iyiyim, sağ olun efendim.